So you just got stationeers, and now you're standing next to your lander with all your starting gear, but you don't know what to do. So you would try to play the tutorials, but they are currently incompatible with this early access stage. So going back to that old version that they mentioned, there's actually very easy with Steam. Click here, pre-phase change, and then update. And then, a minute later, the tutorials. They are really well done and super informative, and so you should really take the time to play them. But okay, let's see what we can do with a quick video. WASD is for walking, space is for jumping, J is for jetpack. You can fly up and down with control and space. On the left there's your inventory, which you can open with the number keys. But you can also press Alt and you will do that all the time, so better get used to it quick. This allows you to intuitively interact with everything. For example, I will just open my tablet, which has another inventory in it, and I can drag the Atmos Analyzer cartridge in it, or another one, or also drag it on here, that also works. And then we see no atmosphere, which means that opening the helmet
pressure critical.
It's really a stupid thing to do. You don't want to do that. You don't just need oxygen, which is slowly ticking down right here, pumped out of your suit after it is converted by you into CO2 via these CO2 filters into the waste tank, which needs to be turned on, you know, the filter. Else this doesn't happen and your CO2 will accumulate and eventually you will suffocate. You don't want that, so turn that on again. But also you need to drink and eat. In easy mode you can even do this with the helmet closed, which is lame. In normal mode you can't do it, and so not just for this purpose, but also because why did you even get this game? You want to build a station where you can play with physics and chemistry and botanics actually, and genetics and so forth and so on. So this is the stuff that you brought. You can also interact just with the mouse pointer. That also works, yep. And now when you point here, you see a wrench can be used to unfasten. Let's do that then. Open the tool belt, use the wrench, unfasten. But this will take a lot of time, so we can also say angle grinder, required to deconstruct. That was quick. We don't need the lander anymore, so that's what you want to do, I guess. Then here we have our crate with the construction supplies, and we will take the iron frames, press right mouse button and start building. If there's something in the way, then you can just use your mining drill here in the mining belt. Right mouse button to activate the tool and remove it then. These are obviously not yet completely built, so what do? We pick a tool and we point at a thing, and then we get a tooltip. Welding torch and 1 iron sheet required to continue construction, or angle grinder to deconstruct. So remove the frames, take the iron sheets, and now press E to swap your hand. You can also press Q to throw, or T to place down. All of that is written at the bottom of the screen. Now let's use the welding torch. Swap here with that thing and start welding. Right mouse button to turn on. Weld twice to be airtight. And once just so that you can build and walk on it. On the left side I left a little front porch which doesn't have to be airtight. That's going to be on the outside. So I welded a bit too much, did I? Problem solved. Now I'm going to be a bit more efficient. Toss down things we don't need. The solar panel, network analyzer, tracker, quite important, but not now. The pill also relevant, but not now. And then we will just stuff our inventory with building supplies. Frames, iron sheets, glass sheets, plastic sheets, and walls. Again, right mouse button is for building. But there's this is a kit. You can use a mouse wheel to select something else. From the kit, different types of walls. And you can use the 6 keys above the arrow keys to rotate this. This is all shown in the tooltip. There's also even an auto-rotate key, which is R in my case, because I already changed that. But in your case it would be C, since I already adapted my controls. For example, for me, Shift is the jetpack. Makes more sense than J, you need it all the time. Now here I left an opening. Why? Because we need to get into the station and out of the station. But since we're on the moon, we're astronauts, we need an airlock. So a door here, and this will be a vacuum chamber. But before we build an airlock, let's haul all that stuff inside. All of it, because on other worlds, which are not the moon, you often have atmosphere, and when you have atmosphere you have storms. After a few days, and that will blow away your stuff, will even damage many things, for example solar panels, if they're not space hardened, and yeah, you don't want that. So let's add some doors. Here we have the airlock supplies box, and it has air pump and pipes and the sensor and so forth, but here are the doors. Glass door. It takes a little bit more space than the composite door to its sides, so I will just choose the composite door so we are more free to put down cables. These little noses that you saw there, they should point to the inside. You will see them soon again when the things have been constructed correctly. You can see welding torch and 1 plastic sheet required. Okay. Then we continue with glass sheets, which you can also see when you point at it with the tool, so I'm not gonna show that again. You can open and close doors even with a crowbar, and now you can see them again, these connectors. This is for power, and that is for logic, which you need if the airlock is supposed to run automatically, which you usually want it to do. What about these walls? They're not yet completely constructed. Oh, we need an iron sheet. And then what? A glass sheet. Then it's done. Makes sense to use both hands here for greater efficiency. Okay, looks like we're all done. All the walls are up, but is that really so? You should inspect, because you don't want to run into that problem. Case in point, this hole up here. Would you have spotted it? And there's the trick. Use the crowbar. Aha. Highlighted, 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 so there's something that you could deconstruct. But if there's nothing, then, whoops, my power is already rather low, so electrical supplies, where are they? Yeah, here. Here we have batteries. Do I want to swap them in? No, not now. I want to take the solar panel and go up here and place it down. There's the sun, so use the kit, right mouse button to switch between them. It's only 2 in this case. Auto rotate key or manual rotate, whatever floats your boat. And continue construction. You know, point at it with the tool and it would tell you 300 watts being produced. Nice. I froze the game time because the way I'm making this video is it's best if if the sun isn't jumping around the whole time. So what do we do with this power then? Cable. It's a kit again, so scroll. Looks very complicated to handle, right? But no, you only need the curved cables and the straight cables. You will see that. You can see that it turns yellow when it has contact, and the 2 plus signs on both ends are either yellow or green, depending on whether there is contact. But where do we go with this? See, every airlock should have its own power supply. And so we look here in the electrical supplies and find the area power controller. This thing is not just a power switch, it also has a buffer battery. And you know what? I'm going to place another one down here. Now I will scroll to the other element of the kit, because the thing is going the other direction, right? It's just a cosmetic choice. I want them to have the same look. Stuff the batteries in. So, are we getting power now? Well, let's swap my battery directly with this one. 38%. Still 38%. Oh, there's a cable missing. 39%. 40%. Alrighty, we're getting sun energy and the battery is being charged. Speaking of battery charging, there's also the small battery charger. Let's place it down right here also. And cable it up. There's a little problem here. We have this cable and that cable. How do I connect this? I can choose the right cable here, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I just take the straight cable and look once more at the tooltip, which you should always read. Merging requires wire cutters in other hand, and so they can just be merged. You shouldn't turn this on because every device consumes electricity when it's turned on. We don't want to waste that. Why did I cable them up like this, in parallel basically? Power comes in here and goes to all of them equally, because sometimes there might be more power coming in than these chargers can actually use to charge their batteries, because they don't have infinite throughput. So if I use, for example, the coal generator to give some electricity to this network, then it's good if they're in parallel, and also if they would be in a chain, like for example, after this airlock power supply thing, then the airlock power supply thing would go into this thing or whatever, and that would then not be beneficial. The airlock would be empty at some point. You always want a power supply in your airlock. Now let's connect all the cables in here. See, when you come in from the outside and want to go into your station and there's no power, then you can't get in. Then you would have to break open a wall with a crowbar, and then you will lose some of the atmosphere. You don't want that, particularly since the pressure in there will be high in comparison to the outdoors, and then you might not even be able to get in unless lots of air has been lost. Okay, now the doors are powered, aren't they? Oh, right. This cable is still missing. Hello. But is this an airlock? No. This is only an airlock insofar as here is air. I go out there. I close the... Oops, this wall is still missing. I close the door. Then I close the outer door. And now the station atmosphere is not escaping. But this box here, worth of atmosphere, is getting lost. And so it would happen every step of the way. What we want is we want to pump this into here. And ideally, automatically. There, the airlock motherboard. It would do the logic controlling. But where will it run? Where do we put this? On the wall? Obviously it needs to be inside a thing, so let's take a console and place it down. On this side here, not on that side, because we need to cable it up. It needs to be power supplied, and it needs to be on the same cable network, as the airlock. So cable-wise, it's ideal to do that over here. Stick the board in, cover it up, there. But we need to do more. This is not an airlock yet. Gas sensor. So the airlock logic can detect whether there's actual gas in here. And an air pump up there, so the pipe can go through the door. On the side that doesn't work, on the ground neither. The pipes are always closed, so this is not yet viable. Here we need some opening. Good thing there is one. The passive vent. It's like the active vent, except it doesn't have a pump in it. So does this work then? Error. No, it needs to be configured. Let's take the configuration data disk and put it in the disk slot. On one side there is one, it would be at the bottom then. Okay. Bit weird. Composite door, exterior. I have to choose which door shall be the exterior. You can see here both buttons are saying the same. Just like these buttons here are saying off, even though the filter is not off, it is on. They're saying what happens when you click on them. In this same way, these buttons tell you what happens when you click on those. So one of these shall be the exterior door. Which one? This one maybe? Ow, we were lucky. This door is now disabled. This one not, because I didn't choose it. Else I would have done this. But no, this is wrong. I need to first assign the exterior door, and the other one would then be assigned to be interior. And now the gas sensor. Oh, something's missing. There. Now the airlock is configured and ready for use. So should we open this valve then to unleash our oxygen tank into the room? No, we should not. It's not fatal, but it's not advisable. Look here, that's our air tank. I will just drag it in here.
Air tank critical.
See? And there's pure oxygen. The room's air doesn't have to be pure, because it doesn't suffer from the mechanics of the spacesuit. In the spacesuit, oxygen or nitrogen in here in the oxygen tank would mean that this lands into the volume in which I as a human stand, which needs to be pumped empty again, at least when it comes to the waste gases. But if there's nitrogen in there also, that would not be removed, since I don't have a nitrogen filter. So the nitrogen would accumulate, and eventually I couldn't put anything else from the oxygen tank into my spacesuit. And since the oxygen that we can find here on the moon, over there, that is oxide, is not pure, it also has nitrogen, we shouldn't have that in our tank. But we need a tank, or at least some other source, so that we can fill up the oxygen tank canister that we carry. So let's just keep this pure and not touch it for now. Instead, let's go mining. Oh, what's that? It's falling down and the sun is melting it, isn't it? Normally it would be melting. Interesting. Ah, now it's melting. Okay, whatever. Maybe it was somehow clipping through the floor. Well, we don't want stuff to fall to the ground if we can avoid it, so let's put the mining belt here. The tool belt doesn't have any benefit from being in that slot, but the mining belt does. Iron we also need. Tons. You never can have too much iron. Volatile. Want some of these. This, together with oxide, is a nice fuel mixture for our furnace, which we need to make steel. Now this might seem pretty primitive to you, but these are only the first steps. What you engineer how, with what kind of gas, with what kind of fuel mixture, with nitrous oxide, volatiles or whatever, is up to you. This is just the first steps. Bit annoying about this airlock, the simple kind, is when I click here, or click on the door to cycle it, then nothing will happen. Why? Because it tries to repressurize up to 101 kilopascals, which is the pressure on Earth at sea level, and also the pressure I've set in my spacesuit. But it can't. There's nothing in there. Even if there was something in there, would it be enough? 101 kilopascals? And even if so, it would still take quite a long time, since this up here isn't the ideal structure. It's just the most primitive one. I can just cancel the repressurization process, and later I can use an advanced airlock chip to make things more convenient. Now that we're in here, let's toss down some of the oxide. Is it melting? It is melting. And you can hear something. More, please. See, 90% oxygen, some of it is nitrogen. On Earth we have about 20% oxygen and almost 80% nitrogen actually, and the rest is CO2 and some trace gases. The pressure should be high enough for me to open the helmet. I can either use the button up here, or I can use I. And now instantly we have CO2 here. Why? That's what I'm breathing out. I am currently contributing CO2 to the atmosphere. Want to see more of this? Let's open the waste tank. And now it's spreading out in the room, properly simulated. Before we continue, I want to clean up a little, so let's cause a little disorder first. Residential supplies. Right mouse button. Again. And the other stuff also, why not? Eggs. How do they work? Well, where's the locker? I want to put that here in the corner. This looks like the doors at the top of the screen, right? Well, then it's correctly placed. Correctly rotated. By the way, when you no longer need the disk, you can just put it up here. It won't disturb anyone. This actually triggers a logic value in the active vent. You can check whether the disk is in there. This is F1 for the help. These are the logic values, which you don't need to know, but an advanced stationeer will of course use the logic values which all devices have. Doors, the active vent, pumps, everything. Everything can be programmed and read out with logic. And there's so much information here. It's like the reference. All kinds of features. So, the microwave wrench. You will certainly have a bunch of lockers. We currently only have one. To make more lockers, for example, we need the autolathe. That is a 3D printer that I want to set up now. Input side, ingots go here. Output side, products come out here. But it's not yet completely done. Of course, we could use the tools to point at it so that it would tell us. But no, not again.
Temperature high. Temperature high.
So that's the autolathe. Let's connect it. Only power. We don't need more right now. And now we can use it. Except we still need the resources. To make ingots, we need the arc furnace. We should place it on the outside though, because the station temperature is already at 11.7 degrees Celsius and slowly rising since the sun is shining upon the station. See, now it's 11.8. We have to install some cooling. Placing the arc furnace on the outside is not just important in regards to station temperature, but also, look here. CO2, that's fine, but 80% pollutant? Do we want that in our station? If you breathe that in, your lungs will take damage and eventually you die. You want that out here. A word on cable networks. Here we have the solar panel, which goes down here, and then the cable is here and goes into these two battery chargers, into that battery charger also, which is not powered right now because that would just waste electricity. So everything that is on this cable network here, all the airlock stuffs, they are visible from this cable. Anything that is on this cable can see all these devices, but these devices over here cannot be seen, and vice versa. That will become relevant at some point in your stationeer life. Oh, already done? Well, iron is smelted rather quickly. There are various things that I want to print, and for that I need other 3D printers. I need one for electronics so they can make the advanced airlock chip. I need the hydraulic pipe bender so that I can print atmospheric things like another active vent, which I can put here so we get a better airlock. And we also need to cool down the station, for which I need the pipe radiators, which are also made with a pipe bender. I want lights in here, for which I need the electronics printer that I already mentioned, and so forth and so on. So let's make those other devices. Let's start with the pipe bender. Here we have the following fabricators. All of these exist, but the ones that we're interested in, autolathe we already have, electronics printer, yes, we're gonna make that, hydraulic pipe bender, yes, tool manufacturing also pretty relevant, but not as relevant as the super essential electronics printer and hydraulic pipe bender. But do we have the resources? No, we need in here iron and gold and copper. So let's put the iron in. So that's satisfied. And then, after a lot more mining and smelting, excuse me for using creative to spawn some stuff in.
Power low.
I've been recording this video the whole day. You have no clue all the things that went wrong. I am really no longer in the mood. So, hydraulic pipe bender. Oh, this will take a while. If the printing process is aborted, only the electricity will of course have been used, but the resources are never wasted. They are not lost. Okay, let's put it up then. Turn off everything that you don't need, because the base energy use of some devices is rather high. let's say auto lathe. 100 watts, that's a lot, man. And you can see here the distinction between the device itself, the structure that's in the world, and the kit from which you build it. In this case, we only have one option, but let's see, how about iron wall? From iron wall, you can build all these things, and from all of these, you can browse back to the kit. So let's build the bender then.
Temperature high. Temperature high.
So in this way you would then build all the 4 manufactories that you need, the auto lathe with which you start, the hydraulic pipe bender, which allows you, for example, to make replacement filters, the electronics printer for lights and batteries and such, and the tool maker for, well, tools, mining belts, backpacks, stuff like that. Now since we have a problem with heat, 33 degrees already, god damn it. Let's use the hydraulic pipe bender and make the kit atmospherics, which has, for example, an air conditioner. And that's this guy, the air conditioner. But it's a bit complex to use because, see, you don't just have the gas that goes in from the right and comes out the left. You could just place some passive vents down there and leave it in the same room. Why not? I mean, you want to cool down this room, so that would work. But the waste gas, here at the bottom of the screen, the arrow, that is the problem. Because you would have some pipes there that would just be enclosed, so they wouldn't go anywhere. Just a container, basically. And you would, for example, have oxygen in there, pure oxygen. As an example, because oxygen is pretty friendly when it comes to phase change, which this game indeed simulates. Here we go. Oxygen. And that's the phase change diagram. Let's use Celsius for easier convenience, for convenient reading. Here, 0 degrees Celsius. Everything is fine. Once it gets cold enough, though, it turns into a liquid, and then it becomes frozen. It becomes solid. If the pressure is higher, then it will not become a liquid. Then it will become a liquid even more easily. So, yeah, you have to consider all these things. Seems very complex, but you get a feeling for these things over time. Oxygen is fine for most purposes, for example, is a rule of thumb. Let's look at pollutant as an opposite. Oh, what a phase change diagram. Here at minus 100 degrees, it will finally freeze, but everything above that, it will be a gas. Except if the pressure is rather high, then almost independent of the temperature, it will just become a liquid. So what's the problem with this then? Well, if you use oxygen or whatever down there in the waste pipe, which you would have out here so that it can radiate its heat away to the vacuum of space slowly or acceleratedly if you use pipe radiators, which we will use later, then eventually it would become so cold that it freezes. What can we do about that? Well, you have to make sure that it's not in the pipe the whole time. And I think the most efficient solution in these circumstances is not to use the AC at all. Instead, I will just pump out the gas, for example, here, the gas of my station with the active vent. I will just make 2, pump it back in here, and out there will be a pipe with pipe radiators, so it will have its opportunity to cool a little, come back in here, I let that run for a while, and the station will cool down. That indeed works. So let's put the pipes up for this. Lead it away from the station a bit. The pipe should not touch the station directly, so that the pipe radiator has some room to breathe, so to speak. 35 degrees already. Okay, let's pump something into the room. There's nothing in the pipes though. Well, let's pump something into the pipes. And now in the pipes we get 400 kilopascals, But apparently it's not rising anymore, because it's being pumped out at the same time. Well, let's give the other vent then some time to put some air in there. Now we can see here, convected, A negative amount means that the pipe content is being heated up by means of convection. That can only be in here, so the warm station atmosphere is touching the pipe and making it warmer. You can also see radiated is convecting millijoules and is radiating joules, so we're actually losing some heat. But I think the station is overall heating up faster than we're cooling it down with this little bit of pipe. But once we put up some pipe radiators, that'll change. Anyway, maybe we should first improve the airlock. Electronics printer, advanced airlock. So this is an airlock then that can separate two atmospheres. Let's use the disk to configure because it's not yet complete. Active vent exterior. The active vent that shall pump to the exterior. Okay, this one is currently locked, not this one. Oh wait, both of them are locked? Oh. I guess I made a mistake. Maybe I should have unassigned them first. Maybe this helps. Ah yes, okay. So let's try this again. Active vent. This one is currently locked, so that was the right one. See, this one will now become interior. Exterior. Disabled. Still enabled. So I picked the right one. Okay, and done. But here we can also set the repressurization value, and I will just say 0. So we will also always have explosive decompression, but it will be a pretty convenient airlock, and we never have to turn this thing on again because we don't have to abort the cycling. Close the helmet with I. Haha. Oh, and another thing about these composite doors. There's a labeler which allows you to name stuff. Let's call it Station 1. Oops. That didn't work. Haha. To make the pipe radiators that we want, we will need steel. How do you make steel? We need a furnace for that, advanced furnace or the simple furnace, sadly not the arc furnace. So we will need 3/4 iron, 1/4, well, coal basically, 900 Kelvin and 1 megapascal. Then it'll work. So let's print the furnace with the auto lathe. We definitely place this monster on the outside because it's very, very hot. And people might also disagree to put it so close to the station because it is also very explosive. But if you handle it correctly, and you should be able to as a proper stationeer, then it will not be a problem. I like to put this thing so that it tosses its results on the inside. And the pipes should be on the side, like so. That is the output, which goes into the station. Pipes on the side. And then constructed. There we go, that's the monster. This unleashes whatever you have in there, the ingot out here. This shows us what's going on in there. This shows us what's currently being smelted. Here we can ignite the thing if there's some fuel gas in there that's not yet burning. Here we have the output of the waste gas. The input for hot gas if you so wish, but we don't need this. And then what I never used so far, the pipe liquid connection. Let's make a pipe cowl or two. Actually two, because yeah, what's happening? Oh, my light is off. Whoops. and a valve. Because the airlock is in fact not yet quite complete. Now it is. And here the output. And a little chimney that we can control, otherwise the furnace would just keep everything inside, and at some point we need to vent it. And you know what, while we're at it, also a nice filtration unit here, so from the kit atmospherics that we printed, so we can get those valuable, that valuable CO2 in here for the plants. There. Of course, what we need to consider is the gas will go out here, will go in here, and so this pipe might constantly be hot if the furnace has some hot gas in there, which will heat up the room. But we will soon have a cooling solution that will be strong enough to compensate for the 1 or 2 degrees per minute that we get from this pipe, if there's hot gas in there. So how do we operate this beast? We take some volatiles and some oxygen. And why do we do that? Because we have already seen, or haven't we, that the fuel canister of our welder uses 33% oxygen and 67 or whatever, 1/3 oxygen, 2/3 volatiles. Now, if I look here at volatile ice, we see that the ice volatile, where is it here, has 22 moles volatiles. But when I look at oxide, we see it has 23 moles oxygen. So if I use two of these, one of these and 2 of the volatiles, I don't have a perfect mixture, but that doesn't matter. The simulation will just burn up whatever volatiles and oxygen it can bind together, and if there's too much oxygen or too much volatiles left in the end, who cares? Now, there's a trick here. If I want to actually do this, let's see, I will just split up some oxide, and then I would have put, oops, where did it go? The sun melted it in my hand, that's what happened. But there's a trick, you can just occupy both your hands, then it will fall into the world, and if you stay at the right angle, not here, no, but here is fine, anywhere here, then it will fall right into the furnace. Now what's happening? The furnace is trying to melt that, it can't, it doesn't have any heat. So let's give it a little nudge. That was good enough for that ice. Same for the volatiles, same problem, there's still no burning going on. But now we have fuel in there. And so this ignition actually started the burning process. Now I can add the other volatiles, so I have 2/3, 1/3, and now the thing is going. And we have over 1 megapascal of pressure and over 900 K of temperature. So we can just toss in the resources. What do we need again for steel? Well, you read it. 2/3, 3/4 iron and 1/4 coal, basically. Yep. And now we can see it would produce an ingot iron, because I don't yet have everything in there that I need for steel. Here, though, we see that the temperature is rapidly decreasing and the pressure rapidly increasing. Well, of course, there's more gas in there now, and if you mine iron ore and such, it also has gas. It's not just pure iron. So now there's a lot of gas in there, which cooled the furnace down effectively. I mean, it's just more stuff that needs to be heated by it, and so we'll just add more of the fuel stuff. You can wing it. It doesn't have to be precise. Only don't stuff in an entire stack. If you do that, then, well, let's do it then. Not yet enough. Next up is volatiles. And good night.
Cognition critical. Health critical.
Now escape, respawn. In easy mode you will respawn with your suit on, and you will even have extra battery and all that. On hard mode you will have nothing, you will basically be naked. So, but you can set a spawn indoors if you wish. Ideally though, you don't want to die. or rebuild your station for that matter. Well, what else do we need to put in there? We have 100 grams of iron, 50 grams of hydrocarbon, so this should be the mixture, right? 150 and 50. Yes, it is, and that would produce steel. And here it is, the steel ingot. I want to use more right away, so don't forget to close this, else it will just melt this and toss it out here. Not bad, but why would I do this? I can toss it in again if I wish. Not a problem. Make sure that your mixture is correct, else it will come out as a ball of brown goo basically, and then you have to either stuff it in again if you have the opportunity to fix your mixture, or if you just botched it, if there's just crap in there now basically, then you have to create a centrifuge, which you will need later anyway, and separate all of that out again. We can also open this now to release the gases. Now you can hear the thing rumble a bit, and the vacuum here nothing. It's pretty loud basically. But I don't want to lose that gas. I can use that because here we also have... Oh, that's not what I wanted. Not bad though. Here we have lots of CO2. 72% of it is CO2. Now it's smelting the steel so that it becomes steel. Why not? Is it refined steel then? No, it's just steel. Okay, with all those pipe radiators up there, it's getting mighty cool mighty quickly. 18 degrees, 17 degrees. Stop it already. And done. It's a manual solution, but yeah, whatever. Accidentally I made 2 station batteries, not a problem. Anyway, where do I put this thing? It needs to be connected to the power sources that we have. The only thing we have so far is the solar panel, but I also have a solid fuel generator here, which burns coal. Outputs 20 kilowatts. These cables are rated for 5 kilowatts, not a problem as long as you don't actually consume that much. But the station batteries, they consume as much as they can get. So yeah, that's a problem. How do we solve this? By making heavy cables. And a place to put them. Let's see, here is our power source cable. I will just make another cable here and we place this stuff on the outside. Okay, now place the station battery, or both of them. You can see it has output, that's on the top here, and input. I will just place both of them on top of each other, even though it's a bit, well, cheesy. Then we need to weld them. For that we need steel sheets.
Power low.
So, some coal in there. Turn on the station batteries. And immediately a cable explodes in our face. Because currently a load is going through this thing of 20 kilowatts. That doesn't work. This works, however. And now they're both being charged. Oh, not actually. You need to connect them. And the output side also, of course. Enough power for eternity. We could put up some plants here. We need some food after all. I mean, we still have food, but at some point we need to grow our own. At least 1% CO2, that's fine. We have almost 2. But we have this assembly here, so let's put into action. I still need a passive vent here, so whatever gets filtered here comes in here. And whatever is not filtered here, waste gas just goes there. Whether you use passive vents or a pipe cowl is often just a matter of taste, but I think the rule of thumb should be use passive vents whenever possible and pipe cowls whenever convenient. Because I believe passive vents have better throughput. Oh, we need some carbon dioxide filters also. Which we also need for ourselves, but ours are still good. So what does it do? It heats up the station a lot, but we also get a lot of carbon dioxide now. And here in the waste pipe there is no carbon dioxide because that part is spliced off, goes through the filters. If you have oxygen here and CO2 here, then you will get both of these things on this side if the pipe supplies it. If there's nothing in here, then nothing will go here and everything will go to the waste pipe. It's very straightforward. It's getting hot in here. So hot. Well, so take off all your clothes. Cooling down. Okay. But it's enough. We have enough CO2 in here. 5%. Not bad. And all that from furnace waste gas. Well, now we also want to be able to drink something. So let's take the water bottle filler. Where would I put this? Oh, let's say here. If you get close, we can see up there in the tool, in the blueprint, 1 and 2 upside down. So I would use the mouse wheel to use the other variation. So it's the same still, but now it's nice, and the pipe is still coming from below. Room temperature 25. You can see that at the right bottom. Also the pressure and so forth. Now here we have the pipe utilities liquid. They also exist for gas and have the same materials. Here we have the large inline tank, the small inline tank, and this is what we need now to put in a canister. We have a canister here also. This one is empty. You can see here 0 liters. Where is my water? There it is. Maybe I want to turn off the cooling for now.
Hydration critical.
Oh, it needs power. The cabling is really nice. I mean, I can just do this, even though I have no clue where the cable is. See, one side's connected, the other is not. And here... yeah, that should work. Now we need a bottle. Let's drink something. When you're really thirsty, you just should push the button for a short time. So you already have something in your system, and then you can take a deep gulp, which then pop, suddenly fills up your liquid. As for hydroponics and food, let's just take the hydroponics tray. And don't put the potato seeds in just yet. First, see if all conditions are fulfilled. What do we need? We need liquid in here. Less than 1/10 of a liter. Certainly not enough. Now, the ways I'm showing you here are not the one way. Actually, I've never done it the way I'm currently doing it here. It's different every time. There are so many possibilities. For example, I could connect this thing to a portables connector, which I can then connect directly to this pipe network. 3 liters, now that's enough. What temperature we have? Almost 20 degrees, that's fine for plants. The air mixture has CO2. How do I know what mixture we need? Well, let's look at the plants. Organics and food. Alien mushroom. Mushrooms, for example, they breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide, just like I do. But I want to plant potatoes. They breathe in carbon dioxide, breathe out oxygen. Here's a list of what the toxic gases are, how much water does it use, min and max grow temperature, though that mutates over time depending on the generation of the plant, because yes, that's in there too. That's why you also have genetics as a field. You have the amount of light per day. A day is 20 minutes. Actually, let's restore the time scale. Orbit, time scale, 0.3 I believe it was for the moon. See, now the shadow is moving again. So let's put the potato in there. Not all of them, just one. You only have 3 seeds, right? You don't want to waste those. And the plant is already thriving towards fruiting. If you want more information, print the plant analyzer. which will tell you. This basically covers most questions you have about my plant is dying on the forums. Growth efficiency is fine. This is composed of other efficiencies. For example, the breathing efficiency, the temperature efficiency, you can see the temperature is fine, and the pressure efficiency, the light efficiency, the light intensity currently coming from the sun, 104%, well, if there would be too little light, there would be light deficiency. If there would be too little darkness, there would be darkness deficiency. Both contribute to the illumination stress. If the illumination stress is high, then the growth efficiency will be down. If the light efficiency and darkness efficiency deficiency are none, then the illumination stress might still be high, will slowly go down again. So you have to make sure that they get enough light, enough darkness. That's why I recommend starting on the moon, because here you don't have to do anything. The sun will do it all. The rhythm is alright, the amount of light is alright, no bother. Which is why I will be so bold as to plant all of them, which you should not do normally. What's missing here is some lights. Running around with a flashlight the whole time works, but it's really annoying, and you're missing out on the great mood effect that indoor lighting has. So let's put up some lights. There. And why not from the ground? Oh, I haven't yet cabled this up. I also took the liberty to put up the grow light, which we don't need on the moon, but I mean, the plants, I think they can stand as much light as you can give them, and I'm pretty sure that only, I heard that only while they have light they will actually grow, but they need their darkness period. So let's look at the light efficiency, 103%. Light intensity is now 183%. So we just added 80% to that. And the illumination stress is still fine, but at some point we should turn that off. We could synchronize that with the sun manually or automatically. And that's it. Now we have a nice station with batteries, electrical supply, solar panel. There's lots more to be learned still. This is just the beginning. I want to repeat that. And we have no decorations yet. Look at this floor. But now you know how to start the game, how to play the game, how to not die in this game. So when these have grown, you have 2 potatoes here, you will just eat them. Or you will wait until they have actually seeded also, then you can take the seed and then the potatoes and then you can replant the seed. And also plant a potato, both work the same, but you can't eat the seed. You can stuff the potato in here. Oh, hasn't it been cabled up? Okay, it doesn't matter. And then the roasted potato will give you more nutrition. You can see down here we have 3 stars right now. Just a naked potato will only be 1 star, a cooked one will be 2. And if you make something like cake, then that will give you actually 4 stars. And 4 stars means you get more than 100% potential here, so you will not as often have to eat. Now you might think, well, I didn't have to eat as much here, but there's easy difficulty / creative. I was changing between the two. But on hard difficulty, you will appreciate the ability to have some more potential here. Yep. Okay. Let's accelerate the sun a bit, so you can see what night looks like. Ah, damn. And that's at night. Still brightly lit? Yep. But make no mistake, these lights, they cost electricity. 50 watts, 100 watts, 150, 200, 250, 300 watts. So does this even need 100? I'm not sure. You can look all that up in the Stationpedia. Let's reduce it a bit, particularly this one, which draws from this battery that is supposed to buffer the airlock. Eventually things become a bit too dark. So we pull out the flashlight again. See? That's quite a different mood. You want indoor lighting. You can even automate this. But that's it for now. I hope you will have fun with this game, and I hope anyone that you can find who would potentially play this game, you will get them to play it too, because we need more people on board. They need more money. They are currently still bleeding. It's a niche game, you can tell. It's not for everybody, so please help get more people on board. Goodbye.